If you haven't heard of Robert Monroe, you have to look this guy up. He's the creator of the Hemisync Gateway Experience. And this guy is the one that pioneered the prison planet theory. The prison planet theory is the idea that we are on this earth and all of our emotions are basically feeding evil reptilian entities. And maybe you've heard of this weird like reptilian theory that's out there and thought it was like absolutely insane. Like, where does that come from? But this guy, he did astral travel by using this Hemisync meditation method, and he found that in the astral realm he could see these crazy reptilian beings feeding off of our loosh, and our loosh is the emotions that we experience, all the toxic negative emotions. So they like try to get us to have conflict and fight amongst one another so that we basically feed them a bunch of loosh. So this is already crazy, right? The thing that makes it so interesting is that this ties in with the idea of the alien theory by Jacques Vallée. So Jacques Vallée is one of the UFO researchers that believes that aliens are interdimensional or extra dimensional, but are not extraterrestrial. So they are not away from this planet. They are not from another planet. They are from another dimension. And he was researching all of this since like the 60s. He's like a physicist, but he was approaching it really logically. And his theory is that these alien beings are the same beings that we read about in like the Bible and folklore, when we see like fairies, dragons, dwarfs, like all these things that we've just assumed were like totally fairy tales and not even real. He said that these alien beings are evolving like with us. And that doesn't make sense, because if aliens were technologically advanced and from different planets and they were visiting us, like they wouldn't have technology that looks like our technology. They wouldn't change like with us. And we've always had alien visitations. There have always been spaceships that were sighted back during like Michelangelo's times. Like there are paintings from that time that had like spaceships and things like this. But he did very in-depth research and found that these things change. So he wrote a book called Passport to Magonia, where he theorizes that these beings change to manipulate us. And he doesn't know if it's like a good or a bad thing, if they are good or bad. But I think that this was so interesting because there are a couple other UFO researchers that agree and have the same idea. And this kind of coincides with aliens are actually extra dimensional. And I think this is so fascinating, but a little bit scary, like because the whole loosh idea is like so bizarre. And I just think you should look it up. Like, look up Robert Monroe. I'm literally gonna go do the Hemisync astral thing right now. I'm gonna go do this gateway experience to see for myself, even though I've heard like some really bad things. So wish me luck.